So, welcome to this week's masterclass from Mystery School. I'm remembering that Mystery School is all about empowering people I've modernized it, but it's still the ancient wisdom. And it's all about making you feel good, remembering who you are, your innate gifts, life skills, like that, but it's not really what it was at mystery school. It's just the easiest way to share because someone said the mystery school. And for those that don't know, if you go to my website, millenniumeducation.com, put in mystery school, there's actually a blog about mystery school and what it is. So today we're going to get something for you, and I'm going to share the screen of what it is. And it's actually asking yourself on something particular. Asking yourself, because part of mystery school was asking, where am I up to? What do I need to know? What's my truth? What's right for me? What doesn't serve me? It's me. Because it's not about me telling you. And mystery school was always give some information. It's a bit like you go to a smorgasbord, here's some information. Take what's right for you. How are you going to interpret it? What meaning is it? So, right now, before we even start, I'm going to get you to ask yourself, am I, and if you notice it's me, am I, not anyone else, am I using my mental ability to make history, or am I using it merely to record history made by others? As I said, this is really, really profound and so connected to Mystery School. So just again, am I using my mental ability? Now, our mental ability in this 3D world is I've got my wisdom, but I'm taught to listen to outside and taught to do and believe what's outside. But part of mystery school, taking people through an evolutionary process and taking them to the fifth dimension, which is total freedom of the mind, body, etc., was about going, am I using it to record history made by others? Meaning, am I just listening to what they said and I'm repeating the pain, I'm repeating the things, and they're not even mine. So I'm going to break this down as it's a one, and it's a big one on purpose. The date that I'm recording this is the 18th of November, 2024. November in Southern Hemisphere, according to sacred geometry, is all about mastery. And if I master my world, I'm really good at it and I'm doing it the way that's good for me. So mastering something might be mastering the way I eat, eating better, drinking water, exercising, cooking chocolate cake better, whatever it is. You're mastering it till it's really good for you. And when we ask ourselves, we actually remove ourselves from any belief. And a belief is just a story you tell yourself. A belief, removing ourselves and going, okay, I'm going to ask myself just here, am I using my own mind, my separate mind, or the mind of the greater consciousness? Because our mind, although I point to my brain, it's got nothing, mind's not there. What is my mind saying? Am I going to be able to make the history? Or am I just regurgitating what they said? Now, I've seen this. This might be a little bit controversial, but that's okay. That's part of mystery school as well. I've seen cultures repeat history. And some indigenous cultures of the land, wherever they are, there might have been from 10 million years ago, 5,000 years ago, a month ago, or yesterday, whatever history, an argument that happened between that group of people and that group, or that tribe and that tribe. And then what's happened is that those two tribes carry the argument down. And it's like, yeah, but it wasn't even your argument. It wasn't even yours. Why are you carrying that history? And that means that I'm using it merely to record history made by others, and I never get to feel empowered. But what I do is I'm going to take on the emotions and the belief systems of what happened there and there and there and there. And as I said, it's indigenous and it's cultural, it's ancestral. And you have a choice. There's nothing wrong in being able to just take yourself aside for a moment and go, I just need to check where I'm up to. Is that my history? Is that really my history? Do I want to take on that history? And what history is when I teach medical intuition, break the story, is I and story. Why? What's the story? History. Do I want to take that history on? So I'm going to give you a couple of examples so you can see. So in the history, my father-in-law's father, so my husband's grandfather, barracked for a particular football team in Victoria called North Melbourne. I lived in North Melbourne. So he barracked for that team. So my father-in-law was told, you must barrack for that team. So he did. My husband, who was not into football, was told he must barrack for that team. My sons, they've grown up with all of this sort of wisdom. He said, well, it's your choice if you barrack for North Melbourne. And start, they didn't know Australian Aussie rules football. They lived in Queensland, that was in Victoria. And their grandfather said, well, you have to barrack for North Melbourne. Well, they said no. And then one of them said, I don't even follow football. And then another one, just to be cheeky, my little aqua personality said, well, I'm not even going to barrack for a Queensland team called the Broncos. I'm going to barrack for the Blues, which is New South Wales. Break the system. And what he was doing was he asked himself, and at a very young age in primary school, said, am I using my mental ability to make history? And aquas like to bulldoze things, make history. And so in that making history, they ruffled the feathers of my husband and his dad. It was like, yes, but here's the but. It's history. We've all got to barrack for North Melbourne. Now, it could be anything like that. In 2020, we had some history, some wobbles and arguments and whatever. And this is really important of you don't have to carry the pain within you anymore because this might not even be yours. The history of everything about being vaccinated, whether you did or didn't, and who did and what happened, all the rest. As I said, this could be a little bit controversial. And for me, it's like, well, what's your mental ability? Are you making history? I like to make history, and I know that all of you do on some level. You're making history by shining your brilliance. Remove yourself from that consciousness that may be old 3D paradigm. Allow yourself to go, it's interesting. They are thinking that way, that I'm thinking that way. When we remove ourselves and we go and have time, my time is to go to nature or the beach, the bush or something like that, to go and reflect, say, doesn't sit right for me. I think I might make history. Why is this important? Because it's about stopping a lineage of pain that's in the 3D paradigm where we have learning lessons continually. The first dimensional paradigm is here, it overlaps the third and fourth dimension. And it's about creating a new way of being, especially of the mind. Your mind is not even your own. You think it is, but it's not. Because there's a greater mind, whatever you want to call it, and it's beyond the higher self. It's called the absolute, total reality of all reality, where you can tap into that where anything is possible. And at the same time, while you've got that, same time, we've got the limited 3D mind. You can't do, you can't have, that's not the way. But you can access whichever one you want. Now let's go to when I was in India for the very first time in 2006. When I got there, it was my dream to go to India. I had this romantic idea that there's going to be gorgeous music, ting, 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 which there was, at specific places, beautiful outfits, the yummy food. It was a 15-year-old dream because I'd seen something at school where they brought like some Indian dance on. That's not what I saw. It was a little bit different. It was a bit of a culture shock with the different sorts of pollution from sight, smell, sounds, etc. It wasn't bad. It was just different. And in that ability to make history, I noticed the caste system. Yeah, it works for them. Has for many, many, many years. It's very, very rich. It's very, very poor. My mind didn't understand that. It was like, well, why can't everyone be everyone and do everything? And right after that, the movie Slumdog Millionaires came out. And it reminded me of a couple of people I met. And we were associating with the very rich Indians. We're more rich than, say, the Western countries of Europe, America, and Australia. But you don't realize. And I would say, yeah, but why? Why? Why does it have to be that way? And when I was worked down with the people, the local people, if you were a chaiwala, tea maker, your father would have been a tea maker, his father would have been a tea maker, their father would have been a tea maker, just like a Slumdog Millionaire was like, you will never be a millionaire because you're of that caste. And that's using our mental ability to merely record history made by others and repeat it and repeat it again. You don't have to. I'm not saying to India, you've got to change. It's just, what if everybody could be a millionaire or everyone could be a chaiwala, tea maker? So what if you checked in on yourself and asked yourself, am I using my mental ability? Because it is an ability. I've got my journals here ready to write. Normally I do it before I teach the masterclass, but I'm doing it afterwards. And in one of my journals, I have my affirmations. And I've been writing them for a long time. And one of my affirmations, or four of my affirmations, one is, I have been gifted my body. I have been gifted my mind. My body serves me. My mind serves me. Now, if my mind is serving me, which was part of mystery school, the physical healing and the mental healing, and part of the 10-point Merkaba is of the mind. Well, if I'm using my mental ability because it's able, just so that people know, in my mid-20s, I experienced big plus depression to the point of suicide. And I was using my mental ability not in service that actually allowed me to understand it was a gift. I used to think really negative of myself. And I wanted to end my life. So our mental ability is that we're able, and our mind can say, anything's possible. Have you seen kids? Are they not? Or dogs? Or even one of the dogs that I fed, and so many people have Facebook messaged me or sent me texts or whatever. One of the dogs that I fed in Egypt was now I've seen on video where it climbed the top of the pyramid. Possible. It's possible. Anything's possible. So if your mental ability, you're able, you can make history and you can change it. Because remember, history, high story, you created. And medical intuition, day one of the 8-day in-person program, which starts the 10-month program, is like the first day I say history. It's high story. We can rub out the story and rewrite the story. And that's part of the physical healing, the chemical healing. But you can do it for your mental healing as well, your ability. Make the history. So you can make the history like my son did. And he said, no, don't even want to follow football. And then the other son made history of, well, I'm not even going to follow Australian rules. I'm going to follow Queensland rugby. And it's not even going to be Queensland. It's going to be for New South Wales, the Blues. Make the history. Yes, it might disrupt people, might throw wobbly. But that's the old paradigm that said sacral chakra. We have to stay in this community, be liked, loved, and accepted. Whereas in our thymus gland and thymus chakra, dare to be different. It's like if you go be different, it could be a little bit challenging at the beginning, but you're all leaders. And so otherwise you wouldn't watch or listen to this. You're all leaders. And so are you using your mental ability to make history? Or are you using it merely to record history made by others that might not serve you? So just think for a moment where you have recorded history made by others and you've gone, this isn't right for me. Might even be in work, family, culture, could be anything. Where you said to yourself, I don't want to do this. It doesn't feel right. I'm no longer part of that because it's so easy to fall into the greater consciousness of this dense energy and go, I'll just keep quiet, I'll just shut up, I'll just do that. Well, stepping forward to 2025 and 2026 energies, which are very aligned together and beyond, it is about not merely recording history. It is about making history. And over the time, we might see children, animals, and things, situations, and experiencing pushing the old boundaries. We can record history, and it is important. It's so important because when we look back at the history, the story, we look at what worked, what didn't work. But sometimes if we make it our truth and go, I'll just repeat the pain, that's exactly what you're going to get is repeat the pain. Things like power struggles in your solar plexus, whether it be within yourself or with somebody else. And so when we use our mental ability, the gift of the mind to make your history, what you're saying is, I design, I create, and I'm going to make happen, manifest what I want. For example, have you ever thought about what would be your ideal day, your ideal week, ideal month, your ideal year? Something I do every July when I run away. What is my history? What was my history? Those who've done the millennium calendar, I look back and go, what was the history for this last 12 months? Yeah, I don't want to do that. I do want to do that. And that we have the ability that every day and every moment of the day, right now, about the history, you write this story. You write it. What story do you want? You want to keep repeating the pain? You can. And your body will listen. It will serve you, but it may make you unwell. Same with the mind. And to dare to be different actually feels really good. There's a new spark of memories that just enlighten within every single cell. And with your brain, all the nerve endings, they create, you have brain synapses like fireworks that create new neural pathways to go, what? What I could do, oh, I could do that. And let me share an example. I remember I was teaching Happy Money module. And in that Happy Money module, which is different from the Money Magnet module, someone had the realization about not recording history related to money, related to happy money. She said, I can't afford not to go to Egypt. She made her own history related to whatever money stories were there, or beliefs, or culture, or whatever else was there. That was profound. Not just for her, but for the whole group. Like, what? Well, it was Egypt, or buying the more expensive tomatoes rather than the cheaper tomatoes at the supermarket is. So I'm going to say again, and I'm going to share again today's lesson, this week's lesson from Mystery School. To ask yourself, not me, you ask yourself, am I using my mental ability to make history? Because I can make it. Like, if you're on your deathbed right this moment and you look back at your history, it's about living with no regrets, being able to say, yeah, I had a good life. I had the life I've always desired. Or am I using your mental ability to merely just record the history made by others and just continue it on and live that pain and continue that as well? And as I said, it can be tricky when it comes to cultures, religion, ancestors, anything, no matter where we are in the world. To break away takes a lot of strength and courage. Courage is held in the organ of the heart. C-O-U-R is a Greek word, heart. Takes a lot of courage. And I'm inviting you open your heart, take the courage, take it, and the history. And there's a third, know you're all there because you're listening or watching to this masterclass. So right now we're going to do some sharing. What did you get from this masterclass? And by you sharing, you actually get to share and teach all of us, which is absolutely fabulous. So if you can't actually unmute yourself, just type it in the chat. Put a Y there, which indicates, yes, I can actually say it. And then I'll go around the Zoom room just to ask people. So let's start with Andrew, Kim, and Monique.
Good morning, everyone. The lesson, or what I'm hearing this morning is, what am I recycling that I no longer need to recycle? And I know I just need to act on it. Thank you.
Andrew added some icing on that cake of act on it, which is so true. It's the story, what am I recycling? And it's, what am I recycling pain-wise? Or am I making history that actually really works for me too? Thank you, Andrew.
Good morning, everyone. Mine is what if I used my greater mind?
Beautiful, Kim. Beautiful. Because we are taught that this is the only mind, that's all we know, that's it, fine, right? When in fact, we can and do already, because I know all of you have, whether you're sitting at breakfast or in the shower, you're washing the car, painting your nails, going for a walk, you have these great ideas come in, and then something goes, nah, don't, what's the point? There's a greater mind. Let's go to Monique.
Yep. Morning, everyone. Yeah, that was quite profound, Jean. I think I really started to think about, things that I've done just for the sake of doing or because it's how it's always been done. So the challenge for me is to create my own history. So thank you.
Yeah, so, and Monique again brings up, all of you bring up great points. Damn it. I wanted it. Go back to school and you wanted to fit in the clique, or at work you wanted to fit in the clique, or whatever, socially you wanted to fit in the clique. And I chose not to. I drank alcohol once. I didn't like it. And I just still don't like it. I don't like the taste and I don't like it because my dad was an alcoholic. And it's like I create a history. I don't want to drink alcohol. And still to this day, it takes a lot of courage because we'll go out, people say, but you're not drinking. Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm creating history. So thank you. I'm just going to go to some written sharing, and thank you so much. Pauline Scott, my golden heart is I can't afford not to live my best life. I'm inspired to live differently. Love you, Jean. Thank you so much. Yes, 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 yes. And which is that thing again? I can't afford not to, because we're in happy money, and if we can't afford not to do that, we actually then stay in that rut. Lou, I will ask myself this week, am I choosing my histories? You guys you so got it. It's amazing. So amazing. Ruthie, I create my destiny and I rewrite every day, moment. What do I want to create? What is my ideal day, week, connection? You guys are rocking this. Leanne, Laverne, I was thinking about how I can make my own history. Then I instantly thought of my husband and how he is recycling the story and recording history that life is hard, etc. So I found myself thinking, how can I create the life I want if my partner is bringing in negativity? But then I realized that's the story. I'm telling myself, I'm limiting myself, which is easier to do instead of focusing more on my path and how I can motivate him by shining my brilliance. You guys are rocking it. You are so in this mastery energy, so rocking it. And it's a great point that Laverne brought up of in mystery school, we didn't talk about positive or negative. It's just thinking differently. And if they're thinking this way, life's got to be hard and whatever else, they would have learnt it from 3D paradigm, from Frank and Gertrude and whoever else. Whereas if you all stand up and dare to be different and shine your brilliance, You're making history. You're making the new story, and you've been an example of what's possible. So amazing, amazing, amazing. Let's go to Leona and Lynn.
Morning, everybody. My golden heart is, what is the history I choose, and do I have the courage in my heart to do what my heart desires?
Look, you are spot on. Do I have the courage? And I know all of you do, because in medical intuition, it is always, always about, I have that body part, therefore, it's there. It's like, you guys have heard me, when people say I've got no self-worth, yeah, you do. It's in your bum. It's in the sacrum bone, which is around the cleft of the buttocks. You've got it. You just didn't realize. But it's that thing of, yeah, I have got the courage. Is it the confidence? Yes, you've got it. It's in the solar plexus. All the things that we desire are actually in the body. It's actually making the choice. And it's making then the decision. Choice is knees. Decision is gallbladder and ankles. So you guys have got all of this. Once I make a decision, decision equals destiny. And then it's like, let's go. I made a decision. I am going to make history. And we can do it in the most graceful, easy, gentle way. It does not have to be hard. Remember, it's about asking. Ask yourself, am I using my mental ability to make history, or am I using it merely to record history made by others that keeps me small, limited, in pain? Actually, I don't even understand what they're saying, just what a lot of teenagers will say. You know what to talk about. I'm trying to do my own thing. You've done this, you'll do it again. And at any moment, what if you are making history right now with all the fabulous awarenesses and golden hearts that you've had by the sharing? That's why I like the sharing, and I thank you so much. So today, go make history. What about whatever you know to be true at that moment that keeps you in pain from someone else's history? Throw it out. Rewrite the story. And then it's not too late. Design your ideal day, week, month, and year. Include holidays, friends, connections, time alone, sleep, food. What is your ideal day? What is your ideal day today, in this week? And then you've created history. You've been an example of what's possible, and then people will go, check out what that group's doing. Oh my gosh, I'm going to do what they're doing. So congratulations, everyone. I celebrate you. 1, for getting up early in the morning. For 2, starting your week off remembering Mystery School. You've all got this within you. And I will see you next week. Remember to practice. Have the best this week. Love to you all. Bye.